Hello everybody, how are we doing? Are we ready to get rowdy with some pirates? Yeah! Everybody say what? Arr! Alrighty, so we've got three guys here that are waiting to share some rum stories with ya, and I will introduce them now. First we will have Treva Etienne. Many of us know Treva from Pirates, The Curse of the Black Pearl. He's in Supernatural, and he is a lovely Englishman that we have spent lots of time with and enjoy. Next, we have Vince Lozano. Another rowdy pirate from The Curse of the Black Pearl. And last but not least, we have Arenberg. So we have our two returning guests, and we did have them at panel, so I'm gonna try to mix it up a little bit with you guys and ask some questions that maybe I'll ask you the same that we did last time to start, but we'll throw in some things to kind of shake them up a little bit, guys. So first of all, I'm gonna start with my Treva.
Hello.
So Treva has a very entertaining story before we get into pirates. Treva approached me a couple nights ago and said he confused the lady at the front desk because he asked for a kettle.
Oh, yes.
Would you like to elaborate on that, sir?
Oh, yes. Well, morning everyone, by the way, morning. Thank you all for coming, thank you. And I love all the costumes and all the work that you guys have done, and it's really nice to do these kind of events and just see how much this movie has meant to you guys. It's very touching, because when we made it, we didn't realize it was going to have such a long-lasting effect. So from the pirates who aren't here, we can honestly say that it's a lovely thing to see. So on behalf of them, the ones who aren't here today, Marty and Kevin, we just want to say thank you all for your love and support. Okay, so the kettle story. So what happened was I arrived at the hotel the other day, and in the hotel rooms you have these little coffee machine things. So mine wasn't working. So I said, oh, well, if I wanted to make some tea, because I'm from England, and tea, as you know, because you're all English, obviously. So I went to the room, the desk, and I said, the microwave thing isn't working. How do I get hot water? So the girl said, oh, you could just microwave the water. Microwave the water? What do I want to do there? So I said, have you got a kettle? And she went, what? I said, a kettle, and she didn't know what I meant. And luckily there was a lady there from Germany, and she understood the European term, and she said to the girl, a kettle, and the girl was lost. So she Googled. She Googled kettle, and the girl looked like it was some amphibious animal you've ever seen. With the spout and everything, and she learned something that day. So there was a positive, but there it is. So.
Very good.
You got fun at Walmart.
And Vince, sir, I was looking you up because I know that you're in several things beyond pirates. You have an extensive background, and I noticed you are an athlete.
Yes, sir.
All right. Could you let us know, because it looked like you're pretty up there in the baseball world.
I grew up playing baseball, football, basketball. There wasn't a sport I didn't play. I boxed, I kickboxed, and jiu-jitsu, and Yeah, I played at a really, really high level of baseball to the point that, I thought I was gonna like play college for 1 year, and then I was like, I'm done, and decided to become an actor. Because I was in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, I'm in the middle of nowhere and it's cold here.
Did the athletic skills that you did that help you with some of the stunts and things you did on Pirates?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's paid dividends. The good thing about being an athlete, and I had a stunt double on Pirates, but actually he sat down most of the time because I could do my own stunts. And I was actually, I think, better than he was at doing the stunts. And especially like, the part where I had to run through the town, throw the bomb with my left hand and throw the bomb with the right hand and chase the girl, jump over this, get hit with an axe. That was all done in one take. And I never lit the bombs off my beard, never practiced, never rehearsed to that time. And that loud scream, that was because I was scared. I was like, woo! Look out.
I'm gonna come back to Pirates in just a second, but me, myself, so my dear Lee, he has been in several things. We know he's in 3 Pirates. My husband's obsessed with him in Seinfeld. Got the thumbs. I fangirl over Grumpy from Once Upon a Time.
Meow.
Yes. So, my question for you is about Once Upon a Time.
Sure.
It was an incredible series that went for many, many seasons.
Right.
Out of all of the filming, all of the episodes, any adventure that you had on set, what would be your number one favorite moment during the Once series?
Honestly, I mean, there were so many good ones. One of my favorite ones was literally my origin story, the Dreamy episode, where I'm hatched out of an egg looking like a giant rabbi. I was like, I can connect on so many levels. You're in this egg. And they go, hey, you're gonna have to bust your way out of this thing. And we only got 2 of them. Like, 2 of them. Like, it's kind of like he's saying about rehearsal with the bombs. You're kind of like, I'm not exactly sure how hard to hit it, to crack it, because you only get it, you can't rehearse it. So they're like, ready, action. I'm like, okay, maybe I have to hit it hard. So I like whack it and I destroyed this whole egg. And they're like, I think that was a bit aggressive. Can you try just like popping a little bit out? And so I remember that next take. Now I'm really nervous, 'cause I'm gonna screw it up, And it's the beautiful thing, what I love in this business, and I think we all do, is we all want the ball. We're all, like, I love what you said about being an athlete, because a lot of this stuff is about coordination, remembering the words and getting the movement right. It's not as easy. Your nerves are going, there's pressure, there's money on the line, right? So sometimes you just have to believe and trust in your skills. And so one of my favorite moments was take 2 of the egg hatch, when I'm just like, I'm gonna use 2 fingers and pop! And then I was like a little chick being hatched. And the wonderment of the character was really the wonder of me, like, oh, thank God I didn't screw that up. I was like, oh, thank you. But I will say this, and what really connects and resonates, and I wanna say to Trev too, the practice of gratitude to you people for being here today, for watching us, for supporting us. Thanks to you, I live at the beach, But know that what's beautiful about our relationship of actor to audience is that you define the art form. We're not actually acting if someone's not watching us. The audience is part of the equation, equal measure. And luckily, when you work with uber mensches like Vinny and Trev, who get that, who value you guys. You know, I was always taught, respect the audience, that's how you respect yourself. I come out of the theater where we always know if there's only 5 people in the audience because it's a rainy night, it's gonna be your best show. They wanna be here, right? And so when you're an actor, that's where we come from. So gratitude is a huge part of our game. Then, with a movie like Pirates, if you remember correctly, we came out in July, I believe, of 2003.
Yep.
And Eddie Murph's Haunted Mansion came out, was scheduled to be released in August, and that was the one that Disney was betting on. That's the one that had the Taco Bell tie-in. That's the one that had the pre-hype to it, right? They left the pirate movie alone because they didn't know what Johnny was doing. The genre hadn't been successful in over 50 years, and that allowed us to have our audience discover it. And you guys made it the hit. Your love of it, the fact that that movie was the little engine that could, starting in a couple theaters. Wait a minute, it's a pretty good movie. Whoa, that Johnny Depp's kind of good. Hey, that Keira Knightley, she's pretty talented. Whoa, that's Jeffrey Rush, he's chewing some scenery. All those crazy pirates are pretty talented. We were in the theaters for 9 months. Thanks to you, unheard of. And that's the fans. And those moments when you guys get it, when it resonates with you, that's what really is the turn on from this side of the equation.
So let's all give yourselves
100.
that round of applause.
Cheers. So
You deserve
always.
being the fans.
Yeah, and Johnny said this to me one time when we had those. Remember, the premiere for the pirate movies would be at the Magic Kingdom in Anaheim, and the world's longest red carpet. I mean, I think these conventions are tough. It's tough for 3 days to talk about myself. But the pressure of the world press. The pressure of the world press. I mean, you want to look good, baby. And I go, Johnny, I'm like, how do you do it, man? What's the secret? He goes, well, the fans are the boss.
Lee's gonna lead me right into the next question on this
great,
one.
beautiful.
So,
Love it.
do we have any Johnny Depp fans in here?
I think we're all Johnny fans.
So I'll start with you, Treva, and each of you can answer this question. What is your favorite Disney proper PG-13 moment that you remember with Mr. Depp? I know it's a hard one. We can skip the bits if we need to.
You mean minus alcohol?
Oh, no, you're pirates. Rum is absolutely allowed.
Which one?
The God.
Oh, I didn't tell that might be
Borderline.
There was a moment. I work with kids and I do drama workshops. I come from a background of working in theatre and teaching and going to schools and stuff. And we did some workshops with some kids on the island in a school. And Johnny found out that we were doing it, and he genuinely wanted to come and be part of it. And because his schedule wouldn't allow him, because he was just shooting all the time and he was very busy, it was very sweet of him because he actually wanted to be part of what we were doing with the kids on the island. And that was that's just one of the many wonderful things about Johnny Depp that I remember. He's just a very sweet, gentleman. He's a gentleman, and he's a wonderful actor, and he's very generous. And I love the guy. He's good people.
I'll back Trevor on that. I think Johnny, he's a blue collar guy. You know, he loves hanging out with the supporting actors, drinking, talking sports, or just talking about life. And I spent an hour and a half with him in the trailer, just bullshitting while he was getting his makeup done. and just talking. And you know, no ego, nothing. And the funny story is, I ran into him at a screening. He's like, Vinny, how you doing? Hey, you didn't need to do that, you know? And he is a solid human being. Solid. Good people. Love the guy.
Well said. I mean, I will say this: we're gonna definitely be Team Johnny for life. There's sort of an unspoken rule in the business that whoever the number one on the call sheet is, that actor's behavior dictates how the rest of us get to behave. And Johnny, professional, cool. I would remember too, like, it's not just the actors he would chit chat with. He would, crew member, anyone on the crew was fair game for his, for a good, honest conversation. The one time he got me pissed off, we were filming on P2. We were filming out here on the water off somewhere, I don't know, off Florida, right? The one night it's freezing cold. In the rain, we had the rain machines working. And it was pretty cold that night. And it was an uncomfortable day of just standing there shivering. And something, Kevin, we're up Orlando, we're all just frozen. And the first person to shed their set coat and jump under the rain machine was always Johnny. I'm like, Johnny, can you just hold on? They're not even ready. He's like, let's go, boys. Pucker up, Pintel. There's a lot of gallows humor. And we had a mutual friend in LA. I grew up in LA. And he would always, my buddy Josh, and real tight to Johnny. And Johnny would always be like, hey, Josh says hey. And he always made sure to make those moments of connection. And those moments of humanity. And that's really what, honestly, none of us knew what the hell he was doing in the first movie. We're like, when Johnny first appears, kind of like wandering in the gold thing, we're like, we hadn't really been in that first film. I think that was the first time we'd really seen Captain Jack, right? When we're all pulling him and we're taking him in and he's gonna be our hostage, right? I mean, we had no clue. Dude, are you drunk or what? And then later to hear, I'm basing it on Keith Richards and Pepe Le Pew. And the whole thing about like that this is the way the dude thinks, and this is sneaky long. Because he goes, yeah, who were the rock stars? These pirates were like the rock stars of their age. Who's my favorite rock star? Oh yeah, Keith. That's the bandanas, all the things. Yeah, I can see it. And then for that dash of the savvy, he goes, Pepe Le Pew? I mean, sign me up. Sign me up for the mad, I'm gonna hop on your tail, mad genius. And then we got to improv in that same scene, when he goes, parlay, and I'm like, I want to shoot somebody so he goes, that's the dam to the depths, whatever Muttonhead thought up parlay, and then they're supposed to cut it. And Gore's like, I think this is cooking, man. Let's see what happens. And then so they keep rolling, and then I think that would be the French. Oh, yeah, the French. And then he goes something about mayonnaise, and then I'm left, he still hasn't called cut. And I'm like, I like mayonnaise. And, all right, cut, shut up. I swear the first number of appearances we would do, people would bring me jars of mayonnaise. I wish I was a better improver. I would have said, I like gold, I like Ferrari.
You can buy mayonnaise at Walmart.
With his tea kettle.
Very awesome. And it doesn't hurt the fact that he's kind of hot.
And you know what? I want to say this. There's a few people in this business that you look at and go, holy crap, that's a movie star face. And Johnny has an ace face. When you'll catch him in a profile, just in a moment when he's not even in character, he's just being the dude. You look over in there and they go, I get it. And in a history buff of our business, And as a history buff of our business, those are the faces that change the world. Starting in the silent, he connects to Buster Keaton. The images, the things that he draws from are really what I'm inspired by. The old character actors. I was thinking, the other day, hey, you show somebody now Humphrey Bogart, who's that? You show somebody like Spencer Tracy, who's that? Betty Davis, Katharine Hepburn. So we're all heading to obscurity. But there'll be very few that have that image. That back in the day it was Barrymore that had that profile. And Johnny is the inheritor of that. And that's the secret sauce. And even, straight male pirate tough guy will be like, holy, you're good looking. I'm curious.
So we have probably read up on how you got into acting. As you alluded, you started with sports. It totally helped and all that. So I'm going to skip that question because I'm sure you get asked it on probably just about every interview.
Yes.
If you were not an actor, if you could go back in time, what would be your career right now?
You know what? I can go first on this one, guys. I wanted to be a sportscaster. I'm a sports nut. We're Man United fans. We're like trying to monitor the game right now. I'm a football guy. With Scott Atwood, we got him in our fantasy football league. Me and Vinny have had 20 years of fantasy football with Marty, and we're always like, you suck, Marty. But that would have been my other choice. I love it. I'm passionate about the telling of the stories. What I love about sport is it's theater without the script. And it's got the lights, it's got the magic, it's got the costumes, it's got the excitement. So all the beautiful part of really what we do is telling the stories. That's an ancient art that in the days before the rise of the church was a sacred event for society, the telling of stories. The rise of the church, their stories got in competition with the old sacred stories, and they took it. And the churches, especially the early Roman Catholic, were the most beautiful theaters. And they offered in the sacrament a little cracker and some wine, gift with purchase, come into our beautiful theater. No actors or dogs allowed for 2,000 years of history. Only, right? And then the rise of the film changed the equation because the power of the telling of the story was more powerful than the written word or even the spoken word. So the revenge of the actor has been pretty sweet. The only problem is it led to like reality TV, and now we worship the Kardashians and all that. So they have a problem with that. We may need to go be back no actors or dogs for another couple of years.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
How about you guys?
I was born to act. So,
Nice. And we love it.
Yeah. I don't have any other career besides being a baseball player, and you know what happened there. So,
but you produce, and you're a creative force, and you're a hell of a poker player. You could have been a pro poker player.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. But honestly, I don't know. I mean, maybe now, yeah, I'll be a poker player and an actor.
I think you are.
That fits in the pirate too, so you're good. Treva?
Well, I kind of fell into acting in a way because when I was younger I had a speech defect and I had a terrible stutter, and during the process of trying to teach myself how to speak, I started reading a lot of medical books, and at one point I thought I was going to be a doctor or a healer. And then through the process of going through the books and then watching television, I stumbled on James Cagney. And James Cagney kind of redirected my direction from being a doctor, because James Cagney spoke in this very, I don't know if those
You dirty rat!
Yeah. So those of you who know him and those of you who don't know him, I would urge you to research him and Google him. He was an amazing actor. He used to speak in this kind of rat-a-tat-tat dialogue, fast gangster And I'd never heard anyone speak like that before. And he spoke like me. And I started to mimic James Cagney when I went to school and realized that if I spoke like James Cagney, I didn't stutter. And I went, I think I'm on something here. The only difference was that I was sounding like an American in an English school, which was very confusing. I was sounding like a kid out of Brooklyn and I'm in London. And okay, why is he speaking this way? He doesn't just have a speech defect, he's got a brain defect as well. And then as time went on, like Lee's saying, I started to appreciate more of the classical kind of old school film stars like Spencer Tracy and Edward G. Robinson and, you know, Humphrey Bogart and those guys. And I started to understand the rhythm of speech. And then one day I was at school and I said to my teacher, what does James Cagney do? And she said, he's an actor. I went, oh, what's that? I said, oh, someone who pretends to be somebody else. I was like, oh, what, are they get paid for that? And well, yeah, it's called a career. I was like, oh. So then suddenly the idea of being a doctor and being an actor kind of conflicted. And in a way, I still feel like people still say to me that there's still a healing in what we do as actors. Because when you go and see a movie and you're feeling down, a movie can really uplift you. It can give you something that you can walk out the theater with and feel inspired and feel fed, and you can look at your rent differently. You know, you can look at that credit card bill differently. You know, that car note, you know, it doesn't possess you like it did before you went into the theater. You can come out feeling inspired and you had a good laugh. And I think in a way what we do as performers in any field, be it circus, act, or musicians, but when you're in a creative world, you are kind of giving back in a somewhat healing way. And in a way we are doctors. We're just doctoring in a different creative space. We're not in a, I mean, it's interesting that they call the surgery a theater. You know, so when you go in for an operation and they say, oh, he's in theater. And in a way, if you look at the kind of equation of that, we are also in a theater. Like right now, this is a theater, you're the audience, and we're here, but we could be looking back at you and you guys could be telling jokes, and then we are your audience. So it doesn't make us any different from you. And I think sometimes there's a confusion in how we're seen as actors, because I think the media tends to entitle the privilege of being an actor, and it makes us different from you. And there are those of us who don't feel that. We feel that we are you because we were you, and we are you, and we're an audience as well. And we go to the cinema, and when we go to the cinema, we're watching other people that make us laugh and inspire us as well. So there's no difference. It's just that we are doing a job, and you are doing a job, and we're still communicating. And if I go to Walmart and buy my kettle, I still have to communicate with the girl at the till.
And make no mistake. Make no mistake, the garbage man's more important than the movie star.
Yeah.
Right? Because actors we don't like to pick shit up. So, but the idea is that we're soul communicators. We're in the business of making our emotions available for the telling of these stories, so that when the school teachers, the real heavy lifters of our society, let's be honest, nurses, teachers, first responders, really everybody but us. When that person is tired from doing their job of heavy lifting of society, educating our children, healing for the sick, you need a good story to charge you back up, that connects with you, that resonates with you, that rouses your soul. That's what we do. And there was a game I used to play, this computer game called Civ City Row. It was like a civilization building game. I was really into it, you know? And you got it to win, you have to be able to develop your houses from little ones into big, whatever they call them in ancient Rome. And the first thing you needed to have access to develop your city was access to water and food, clothing and beds, right? But pretty soon after beds, clothing, and food, it was the art before security. You needed fires before you needed the cops. Because the society could theoretically take care of itself once it was nourished by art. And then suddenly, boom, the houses grow. So I never lost sight of the fact that we do have a key spot in the hierarchy of the culture and art in terms of enriching society, but it doesn't come before the real heavy lifting. The guys that make the beds, the guys that get our food delivered. So it humbles us to get kind of this adoration that we do, but I think we're aware that we're dang lucky. And so I make sure, like, you know, when I would pray to the universe to like recognize my awesomeness, which I basically do all the time, and then suddenly you get a great movie. Dude, here's an opportunity to be a movie star, son. Go for it. Yeah, congratulations. Thank you, Lord. I'll make sure to check in daily on the gratitude. And they say it's called practicing gratitude, which means you don't have to get it perfect. It's just the effort of it is the act. That's why I love that word practice. We practice yoga, we practice meditation. A lot of things that are good for us are practice. Perfection is never required or implied. It's just the attempt. And so, you know, I think that's the magic of what we do. When you guys dig it, that defines it. We're trying to pay our rent, baby. Really, you make it the art. I don't care. To me, I think that's the craziest thing when actors do. It's like, oh, listen, I'm so pompous. I'm so full of myself. Yeah, I've got my assistant getting me a Diet Coke and a seltz-out sandwich. Like, dude, you're lucky over there. Yeah, you're lucky. Where's the gratitude? But I guarantee that 99% of the people in the business will mention that sometime in one of their countless interviews, that we're lucky. There's better actors out there than all of us that didn't get the opportunity. We do it for you.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I was going to tail end it with, just to add to what Lee just said. When I was starting as a young actor, I was at this party, and I think this is one of the things that's really kept my trajectory open with working with children and just being grateful every day. Stories are the stories that we create about life. Life is a story, and you are in your own movie. You have the beginning, the middle, and the end, and you are in control at the end of your movie. We live in a society, in a world, where we're constantly being told how to think and what stories are important to us, and how those stories should influence us. And we lose sense and sight of the power of our own story. And it's very important that stories, be it the stories that we share or the stories that you live every day, it's very important that you create your own stories, because if you don't create your own stories, the stories in your head create your suffering. And then you suffer because of the stories in your head. I'm ugly, I'm not smart enough, I'm not clever enough, I don't have enough money, I don't live in the right zip code, I don't drive a nice car, I haven't got a nice partner, I don't have the trophy, you know, and all these stories we tell ourselves create our suffering. So if we can retell the stories and we can be grateful, and this actor once told me at this party once, he said to me, you can be the greatest actor of your generation and still die an unknown. And he said, you don't think there were better people than Brando? Yeah. You don't think there were better people than Olivier and Betty Davis and Meryl Streep? Don't think they were better than them? But what did those people do? And you know those people that come in 13th in the Olympic 100 meters? They come 15th. You don't even see them cross the line because we're only looking at gold, silver, and bronze. And those people that ran in 13th, they trained at 4 a.m. for the last 4 years. They did everything that the winner who got gold did, but they came 13th. And we're told that we shouldn't care about the loser. And we should, because the loser is the winner as well. And you know, sometimes in life, you know, you can laugh so hard you cry. And the funniest comedy is when we look at pain. When you see Chaplin or Keaton fall over, or Laurel and Hardy, we laugh at people falling over. So if we laugh at pain and we cry at laughter, you see the oxymoron? You see how it's...
Yeah, and you know what? I like to say how thin that line is between comedy and tragedy. The two masks. The guy walks in the room, there's a banana peel on the ground. He slips on the banana peel, bam, hits the ground, but gets right back up. It's pretty dang funny. The same guy walks in the room, slips on the same banana peel, breaks his spine and becomes a quadriplegic. That's tragedy.
Thank you guys. So I appreciate you answering my questions. I will come to we've got just a few minutes left, so I can take about 4 questions from you guys out there if we can.
That's not the way to take it. We're just rattling on up here. Let's just go all day. It is Sunday. It is a church. It is.
We're in private church right now.
I think you and I could have been preacher men if we weren't doing this. And there's a similarity for all of that because it is all about team building and being positive. Yeah, just go ahead.
I appreciate you sharing that you offered classes to children in the area that you guys were filming. Are there any other charities that you guys give back to or organizations that you support?
I work with numerous charities. I put on poker charity tournaments. Did one for Ukraine a few months back. Did one for there's a boxing gym in Montana, the Blackfeet Nation. They have a boxing club that teach women how to box. Because as you know, a lot of indigenous women are disappearing on their reservation and human trafficking. So I found out about them. I did a boxing tournament. I think Lee came to that boxing charity tournament. We raised a bunch of money and I was able to send them each woman, little girl, little boy, boxing gloves, wraps, and headgear. And Trevor and I also work with, we help out with Penny Lane, which are kids that are abused. So yeah, we give back all the time. All you gotta do is ask, and if I can help, even cats. I did a poker charity tournament. They need money for cats. Okay,
Kids and animals for me. Kids and animals. There's Spanish dog rescue. I believe in rescuing animals. I believe in the Make-A-Wish, the St. Jude. Anyway, if you're asked to do it, you do it. Giving is the way to open up to be able to receive the blessings of the universe. You can't hold on to things too tight. You got to give to get, right? Be of service. That's the way the good stuff happens. It's like in your house. If you got a bunch of stuff, you got to get rid of it to make room for, spiritually for new things. So always pay it forward. Always be kind. Smiles are free.
All right, next question.
English, not Navi.
Avatar.
So, like Lee mentioned earlier, Robert Newton kind of shaped the face of piracy in the 50s. How does it feel that you guys, in your movies, you guys shaped the face of piracy for almost 2 new generations? And since there haven't been too many big pirate movies since, how does it feel to know that you guys kind of made pirates what they are today?
The best one? Number 1 was the best one, right?
That's the best one, yeah.
Even though Lee was in 2 and 3, but number 1 was the best one.
You know what? I think what was really cool is what the pirates that we portrayed represent. The pirate is the nonconformist in an ever-conforming world. It was not lost on us that the bad guys in the pirate movie was a big giant multinational corporation. East India Trading Company, trying to track down the lone wolf pirate guys, running around. And that's kind of like a kind of cool subversive story for like Disney to take on and play on video. But it allowed everyone that is a pirate reenactor that likes to play all these festivals, you suddenly didn't have to feel like you could come out from under a rock, baby. It's cool to like fly your flag, hoist your colors. We're all special.
Drink rum.
Yeah, drink a lot of rum. The best way to succeed in life and to find your path, whatever your path is do what you like. That's what makes you special. And if you follow your own tune, that's how we succeed in this world. And that's the pirates that we represent. That's what piracy represents today.
So I actually got to ask Lee this question yesterday, but with Evan, you two here, and I do want everybody to hear kind of Lee's answer as well again. You guys have worked with a lot of people over your careers. If you had to have a two-man show, who would you work with?
Lee Arenberg. Treva Etienne. No, actually, Trevor and I did a movie. I produced a movie called Acts of Desperation, and it was written for a Caucasian person, but I go, you know what? Trevor is the perfect guy for this role. And he didn't have to audition, right? And I made him the lead in the film. It really, a two-man show, man. You got someone?
Wow. I don't know.
You know what? I would say, for me, Al Pacino. I just love Al Pacino in the Godfather movies. He's someone that I looked up as an actor since I was a little boy. And yeah, Al Pacino for me. We could redo the Godfather stage version.
Watch the pirate version of Godfather.
You'll
Let's
be
do
Marlon
it.
Brando.
Yeah.
I'll be his son.
It was you, Fredo.
We're gonna trademark that on the stage right now because that would be awesome. Okay, guys. So
I think if I had a choice, people that we work with or people just people.
I asked Lee.
Who did I say yesterday?
You said Marty
Clever.
Well,
No way I said Marty.
Jennifer from Once Upon a Time, Prince Charming, and then your partner in crime in the Pirates.
Mackenzie, I might have said Mackenzie, yeah.
Someone we work with, that's understood.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because I do Javier Bardem, I do Al Pacino, I do like even, there's so many brilliant actors. I just want to be wanted. Hollywood is like high school with money. I have anxiety, I have depression, I'm a human. I wake up in the morning, I go, thank God, thank you Lord, I'm awake, seriously. And then I'm learning to set my intention for what I need to get done in the day and set my emotional intention. When I'm at a convention, when I know I gotta do a panel, I wanna bring some good, my comedy fastball. I wanna make some soul connection. And I say that to myself in the morning as I'm nursing the hangover and trying to jump in the shower. So I just want you to know that at the end of the day, we're more alike than we're not alike. We're all human, we're all in this together. We all have to once in a while call the shrink up, or for me, my buddies, I call them the Jedi Council. I need some Jedi love. So, much gratitude.
Treva, quickly your two, and then we're gonna wrap up for you guys.
I would say Laurel and Hardy. If I could work with Laurel and Hardy, I would love to have done a movie with Laurel.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you all of you. Remember, if you want to have conversations with these guys and have more questions, they are in the celebrity row. They will come talk to you. You can walk up and talk to them for as long as you want. And they will continue this conversation with you at the table.
Thanks everybody, thanks for being here.